Hey, the rock band performer Ted Nugent released a song or an album called Free for All. And I have the words in front of you on the screen. I don't have the music playing. And the words, as well as the music, are a little bit suggestive of activities that might not be considered extremely clean or holy. So I wanted to avoid all of that and just use the title Free for All. Okay? What is a free for all? And basically, that's the title of a episode of The Prisoner, Free for All. But before we do that, we need to go to the English definition, and I'm going to be borrowing this video here from the man who refers to himself as Bob's Short English Lessons. So I'm borrowing Bob's Short English Lessons so that we can understand the term free for all. Take it away, Bob.
The phrase I wanted to look at today is more of a term than a phrase, but it's free for all. When something is a free for all, it means that a bunch of people are doing something and there's no rules involved. I'm trying to think of a really good example. If I brought a bag of candy to my classroom, and if I started throwing the candy onto the floor, it would become a free-for-all. That would mean that students would be jumping out of their desks trying to get the candy off of the ground. They would probably push each other out of the way. It would definitely be a free-for-all. So a free-for-all is any situation where there are a number of people and they're just behaving based on what they want to do right away in that moment, instead of according to rules or any kind of guidelines that I would give. So it does happen sometimes. I once had a grandparent visit one of my classrooms and start throwing candy around, and it turned into a free-for-all. Yes, students were jumping out of their desks to get the candy. Anyways, let's review. If you say to someone in English, feel free, you're basically saying, go ahead, or it's fine with me, or yes. The example I gave was if my brother wanted to borrow a vehicle, I would say, hey, feel free. Anytime you need to borrow a vehicle, feel free. Just come and get one. And a free-for-all is any situation where a group...
Notice how the word is hyphenated.
And a free-for-all...
Notice it's hyphenated. So the title of the episode in The Prisoner is called Free for All. And the definition, if you're going to follow the denotative meaning, or more, we might say like the literal meaning, would be sort of an unrestricted situation where there's no rules and people can do whatever they want and that type of thing, as he described it with throwing candy on the floor and everybody just starts acting like a maniac. So a free-for-all is a fight or a contest or an argument. It doesn't have any rules. It's a competition or situation that is disorderly, out of control. Okay. Or I might add the word chaotic. Chaotic. So that is the title of an episode in the Prisoner series. It was broadcast, I believe, October 22nd, 1967. And in that episode, number 6, or Patrick McGoohan, is convinced he should run for office to try to take the place of number 2. And he's convinced if he can get in office, maybe he can sort of take charge completely of the village. But There will be some brainwashing that will occur. Now, the whole thing about this episode is that it is a commentary on politics. And I'm going to try to break it down and do a few videos on this episode, Free for All. And remember, it's a pun on the uncontrolled situation with no rules, and it's basically chaos. And that is the word that the Masons love, as well as all secret societies, is because they create chaos. And in the creation of chaos, they get their order out of chaos. So in this episode, number 6 is going to be sucked into the system. And many people, even truthers, are still being sucked into the system of politics, believing that if you just get the right one in there, oh, if it could just be Trump, Donald Trump, and make America great, they would be greatly rejoicing. So they're sucked into the system. But what is the system? The system is just basically a free-for-all with the hyphens. Now, if you look at how it's titled on the actual DVD cover, it's not hyphenated. So you get the impression, oh, it's free for all. What? Democracy or free elections. So the one thing about Patrick McGoohan is always sort of having double meanings. And I tried to point that out with the big line, we want information. And most people think that means knowledge. But most likely, Patrick McGoohan here, most likely that phrase, information, means conform. Get information. Like a drill sergeant speaking to one of the recruits just off the bus and wanting to be a U.S. Marine. Get information! So anyhow, free for all, another pun, meaning all politics. It's just the ability for them to create chaos and then sell it to you as, oh, it's freedom for all. I'm free. I go to the polls and I vote. It's a free for all, hyphenated, as you see here. So I'll be doing some videos on this episode, and I'd like to thank you for watching this introduction into video.